Breaking news at this hour, the Justice Department announces results from what it calls the largest international operation. The sting Operation Spectre targeted fentanyl and opioid traffickers on the Darknet.
A lot of weapons inside and is positioned directly across the street from an elementary school.
By all means, do not let him get inside that school.
Let me tell you about the day the FBI kicked down the door of a Los Angeles apartment and found what looked like a WeWork office for drug dealers. April 9th, 2025. FBI agents, DEA, and the JCODE team, that's Joint Criminal Opioid and Darknet Enforcement, which sounds like it should have its own action movie.
Well, I don't think we're going to necessarily ask for a declaration of war. I think we're just going to kill people that are bringing drugs into our country.
Breach an apartment expecting your typical drug den. Guns everywhere, cash stacked to the ceiling, maybe a tiger in the bathroom. You know, cartel stuff. Instead, they found desks, a laptop, a printer, racks of addressed envelopes, postage stamps, like they're running a small business, which, technically, they were. Except instead of selling candles on Etsy, they were shipping methamphetamine and cocaine to customers worldwide via the Darknet. Oh, and this apartment? Just one piece of Operation Raptor, a global takedown that spanned 4 continents, resulted in 270 arrests, seized over $200 million in cash and crypto, confiscated 180 firearms, and recovered 144 kilograms of fentanyl. That's 317 pounds of fentanyl. 1 kilogram can kill 500,000 people. Do the math. That's enough to wipe out 72 million people. Today, we're breaking down how the FBI infiltrated the Darknet's most prolific drug dealers, the tactics they used to track anonymous cryptocurrency transactions, and why this operation might be the beginning of the end for anonymous online crime. If you're into tactical breakdowns of real operations, smash that subscribe button and drop a comment telling me what operation you want covered next. Let's dive in. So first, what even is the Darknet? Most people think it's some mystical hacker dimension where you need 7 passwords and a blood oath to access. Reality? It's just websites that don't show up on Google. The Darknet is a portion of the internet not indexed by traditional search engines and only accessible through specialized software, primarily Tor, the onion router. Here's how it works. Normal internet? Your computer talks directly to a server, easy to track. The Darknet? Your connection bounces through multiple encrypted servers worldwide, making it nearly impossible to trace. It's like mailing a letter, but instead of going straight from your house to the recipient, it gets forwarded through 15 random addresses first, each one removing the previous return address. And what do people use this anonymity for? Well, originally it was designed for activists in authoritarian countries, whistleblowers, journalists. Noble stuff. But also, drugs. Lots and lots of drugs. Darknet marketplaces look shockingly legitimate. Shopping carts, product reviews, sales promotions, customer service. It's like Amazon, except instead of buying a blender, you're buying heroin. Brenden, an analyst on the JCODE team, said, "There's a lot that is put into place that makes it appear to be legitimate, when what's really happening is there are people in garages or basements that are using pill presses to make their own pills and sell them online across the country and sometimes across the world." The Los Angeles operation found that 4 subjects operated approximately 10 Darknet vendors across 17 different markets, selling cocaine, methamphetamine, MDMA, and ketamine in exchange for cryptocurrency. They packaged and shipped parcels through the U.S. Postal Service. Think about that. The U.S. Postal Service, the same folks who deliver your credit card bills, was unknowingly transporting industrial quantities of narcotics because these dealers made it look like regular e-commerce. Aaron Pinder, unit chief of the high-tech organized crime unit at FBI headquarters, said, "It's not like when you're dealing with your local neighborhood dealer or even a cartel member. The Darknet vendors that we investigate, they truly operate on a global scale in their ability to reach and sell drugs to customers out there. Global. Scale. That's the problem. So how do you catch criminals operating on an anonymous network using untraceable cryptocurrency? Turns out, there's no such thing as truly anonymous crime. You just need better cops. Step 1. Infiltrate the marketplaces. The FBI didn't just stumble onto these dealers. Operation Raptor built on the successes of prior years' operations and takedowns of marketplaces, which resulted in the seizure of Darknet infrastructure from Nemesis, Tor 2Door, Bohemia, and Kingdom markets. When law enforcement seizes a Darknet marketplace, they don't just shut it down. They harvest everything. User lists, transaction histories, encrypted messages, cryptocurrency wallets, shipping addresses. Europol and JCODE compiled intelligence packages to identify entities of interest. These leads allowed U.S. and international law enforcement agencies to identify Darknet drug vendors and buyers, resulting in coordinated investigations. Think of it like this. The FBI didn't catch one drug dealer and stop. They caught one dealer, took his customer list, identified 50 buyers, tracked their purchases back to other vendors, seized those vendors' records, and repeated the process until they had a massive web of interconnected criminals. Step 2. Follow the money. Even cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is supposed to be anonymous, right? Bitcoin, Monero, Ethereum, untraceable digital money. Wrong. Every cryptocurrency transaction is recorded on a public ledger called a blockchain. It doesn't show your name, but it shows the wallet addresses involved. And if law enforcement can connect a wallet address to a real person through an exchange, a bank transaction, or even just sloppy operational security, the entire transaction history becomes visible. Operation Raptor seized more than $200 million in currency and digital assets. The IRS Criminal Investigation Division was heavily involved because, surprise, drug dealers still need to turn crypto into actual money eventually. And when they do, that's a taxable event, or in this case, a go directly to jail event. IRS CI Chief Guy Ficco said, "Working through the JCODE initiative, IRS Criminal Investigation and our international partners led the largest and most impactful takedown to date, seizing over $200 million in assets." The IRS, the same people who audit your tax return, are also hunting Darknet drug lords. Wild. Step 3. The physical world still exists. Here's the dirty secret about Darknet drug dealers. They still have to live in the real world. FBI Special Agent Christopher Siliciano said, "The sellers still have to turn their money into cash. They still have to pick up the drugs. They still have to transport the drugs. Not all of that happens on the internet." The Los Angeles crew had to receive bulk shipments of cocaine and fentanyl from somewhere. They had to package drugs in physical envelopes. They had to go to the post office and mail them. Every one of those actions leaves evidence: surveillance footage, postal records, fingerprints, DNA. In one case from January 2025, Adon Ruiz of Orange County got 17 years, and Omar Navia of Los Angeles got 15 years for supplying fentanyl-laced pills to a trafficking ring that sold to more than 1,000 customers nationwide via the Darknet. The judge called it the most sophisticated fentanyl distribution ring that this court has seen. Sophisticated, and still caught, because eventually everyone makes a mistake. Step 4. Knock on the door. Once JCODE identified targets, they coordinated simultaneous raids across multiple countries. Operation Raptor involved arrests in Austria, Brazil, France, Germany, the Netherlands, South Korea, Spain, Switzerland, the United Kingdom, and the United States. 270 arrests across 4 continents. Coordinated timing so no one could warn anyone else. That's not just law enforcement. That's military-level operational planning. So what weapons did the FBI actually use in Operation Raptor? Digital tools. 1. Blockchain analysis software. Companies like Chainalysis and Elliptic provide software that tracks cryptocurrency transactions and identifies patterns. It can link wallet addresses to real identities by analyzing exchanges, mixers, and transaction flows. 2. Darknet monitoring. The FBI operates undercover accounts on Darknet markets. They buy small amounts to identify shipping methods, they pose as vendors to gather intelligence, and they monitor forums where dealers discuss tactics. 3. Exploitation of seized infrastructure. When the FBI seizes a Darknet marketplace server, they don't just shut it down. They run it for weeks or months, collecting data on every user. It's a honeypot. In furtherance of Operation Raptor, the Office of Foreign Assets Control, OFAC, sanctioned Iranian national Behrouz Parsarad for his role as founder and operator of Nemesis Market following seizure of the market. They literally took over his marketplace and used it to catch everyone using it. Physical tactics. 1. Controlled deliveries. Instead of just intercepting packages, law enforcement delivers them and watches who picks them up. Once the suspect signs for the package containing 5 kilos of methamphetamine, they're caught red-handed. 2. Postal Inspection Service, USPIS. The U.S. Postal Inspection Service is one of the oldest federal law enforcement agencies and specializes in mail-related crimes. They use drug-sniffing dogs, X-ray machines, and behavioral profiling to identify suspicious packages. 3. Traditional surveillance stakeouts, wiretaps, informants, GPS trackers. The FBI didn't reinvent the wheel, they just applied old-school tactics to new-school criminals. Seized arsenal. The results were staggering. Over 2 metric tons of drugs, that's 4,400 pounds, 144 kilograms of fentanyl or fentanyl-laced narcotics, over 180 firearms, more than $200 million in currency and digital assets. Wait, firearms? Yeah, because apparently these online-only vendors also sold guns. And not just handguns. We're talking 180-plus firearms recovered worldwide. Let's get serious for a second. Operation Raptor wasn't just about busting criminals. It was about stopping a body count. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says synthetic opioids like fentanyl are the primary driver of overdose deaths in the U.S. Just 1 kilogram of fentanyl can kill 500,000 people. Operation Raptor seized 144 kilograms. That's 72 million potential deaths prevented. In the sentencing of Omar Navia and Adan Ruiz, prosecutors revealed they supplied fentanyl-laced pills that caused several fatal overdoses. Real people, real deaths, real families destroyed. FBI Special Agent Maggie Blanton, a supervisor in the high-tech organized crime unit, said, "You can't work these cases without being touched by the devastating human toll of these drugs, the lives and the loved ones lost. It's why these online marketplaces are so worrisome, and why JCODE was created to combat them. The Darknet made drug dealing easier. No street corners, no face-to-face transactions, no risk of getting shot by a rival dealer." FBI Los Angeles Special Agent Christopher Siliciano said, "Many people are more comfortable logging onto their computer and buying drugs in 3 minutes from their couch than going to a sketchy street corner. But that convenience also means more people using, more overdoses, more death." One case involved a Van Nuys man sentenced to more than 20 years for trafficking fentanyl and cocaine via Darknet marketplaces. He admitted in court documents to causing 1 fatal fentanyl overdose. 1 life gone. Because someone clicked Add to Cart on a Darknet website. If this breakdown is hitting different, hit that like button and let me know in the comments if you want more deep dives on real operations. So, does Operation Raptor mean the Darknet is finished? Drug dealers everywhere throwing up their hands and going legit? Not even close. Europol's European Cybercrime Center noted that the operation's results demonstrated a shift in the dark web landscape, where criminal actors are now opting for smaller, independent shops to circumvent marketplace fees and minimize their risk of detection. Translation: big marketplaces are too risky now, so dealers are going smaller and more decentralized. It's whack-a-mole. Law enforcement shuts down one marketplace, 3 smaller ones pop up. But here's the thing, JCODE isn't going anywhere. FBI Director Kash Patel said, "By cowardly hiding online, these traffickers have wreaked havoc across our country and directly fueled the fentanyl crisis and gun violence impacting our American communities and neighborhoods. But the ease and accessibility of their crimes ends today." JCODE has conducted operations every year since 2018. Operation Disruptor, 2020, 170-plus arrests. Operation Dark Hunter, 2021, 150-plus arrests. Operation Spector, 2023, 288 arrests. Operation Raptor, 2025, 270 arrests. They're not slowing down. They're getting better. Aaron Pinder said, "We have become very adept at identifying the individuals behind these marketplaces, no matter what role they're in, whether they're an administrator or a vendor, a money launderer, or indeed a buyer. Even buyers. That's right. JCODE doesn't just arrest dealers. They knock on buyers' doors too." HSI Special Agent Christopher Hicks said reaching out to Darknet buyers has always been another aim of JCODE investigations. Agents make visits to some of these buyers to let them know their purchases are not as anonymous as they believe and to offer information and treatment resources. Imagine that. You order some drugs online thinking you're completely anonymous, and 6 months later, the FBI is at your door saying, "We know what you bought. Here's a rehab pamphlet." The most impressive part of Operation Raptor? The international coordination. This wasn't just the FBI. This was Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, Homeland Security Investigations, HSI, U.S. Postal Inspection Service, USPIS, IRS Criminal Investigation, IRSCI, FDA Office of Criminal Investigations, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, ATF, Naval Criminal Investigative Service, NCIS, Customs and Border Protection, Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, FinCEN, Office of Foreign Assets Control, OFAC, plus Europol and law enforcement from 10 countries. That's not just cooperation. That's an international task force that would make the Avengers jealous. Edvardas Šileris, head of Europol's European Cybercrime Center, said, "Operation Raptor shows that the dark web is not beyond the reach of law enforcement. Through close cooperation and intelligence sharing, officers across 3 continents identified and arrested suspects, sending a clear message to those who think they can hide in the shadows." ICE Acting Director Todd Lyons added, "This record-breaking operation sends a clear message to every trafficker hiding behind a screen. Your anonymity ends where our global reach begins." The message is clear. You can hide behind Tor. You can use cryptocurrency. You can operate from another country. But if you're selling drugs that kill people, eventually someone's kicking down your door. So here's what we learned today. The Darknet isn't as anonymous as criminals think. Operation Raptor proved that, with 270 arrests, $200 million seized, 144 kilograms of fentanyl confiscated, and 180 firearms recovered. The FBI's JCODE team, along with international partners, used a combination of digital forensics, cryptocurrency tracking, traditional surveillance, and good old-fashioned detective work to dismantle a global drug trafficking network. They turned seized marketplaces into honeypots. They followed the money through blockchain analysis. They coordinated raids across 4 continents simultaneously. And they're not done. Every year, JCODE runs these operations. Every year, they get better at it. The Darknet drug trade isn't dead, but it's definitely looking over its shoulder. If you want more breakdowns of real operations, from SWAT raids to international takedowns, subscribe to the channel. Drop a like if this was worth your time. And comment below, do you think law enforcement can actually stop Darknet drug trafficking, or is it a losing battle? Stay informed, stay curious, and remember, on the internet, nobody knows you're a dog, but the FBI might know you're a drug dealer.